Welcome back to Moose on the Loose. My name's David. In today's episode, we've got a CTV video here where 4 panelists are asked what the leaders should be doing in each party and how or if they should be attacking each other and their strategies. And one of them, what he says about Trudeau and how he should be going against Poilievre, it's astonishing. After this video, we do have some updates which are pretty shocking as well. So let's get into this.
They need a break, for God's sakes. And that's why common sense conservatives are calling for an end to gas and diesel taxes from Victoria Day till Labor Day to give Canadians a summer break.
I understand that the Conservatives have made this a challenging conversation because they're busy axing the facts.
That back and forth between Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre could be a preview of what's to come this week when MPs return to Parliament Hill for the final stretch of the House of Commons sitting.
So we take a look at the House of Commons sitting calendar. What is it today? May 20th? Right here. So basically there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row that they're going to be there. That's all these green. The star means potential extended hours. So they got 5 weeks they'll be in the House of Commons, and then they're on 2-3 months off, and then they're back with a couple weeks off here. So
there's still lots of legislation on the agenda to, in some cases, introduce and others pass, from the proposed capital gains tax increase to pharmacare. So what should each party's priorities be before the summer barbecue season begins? Our Sunday strategy session is here to answer that question. Kathleen Monk is a former director of communications to the late Jack Layton. Corey Tonight was Ontario Premier Doug Ford's campaign manager and former director of communications for Prime Minister Stephen Harper. And Scott Reid is former communications director to Prime Minister Paul Martin. Hi, everybody. Great to see you on this Sunday. Scott, I'll start with you. How much of an indication do you think those two clips are of what's to come?
Probably pretty high, but I think there's some adjustment needed on the part of the Prime Minister. If I'm Poilievre, I love those two clips. It's 100% of me using my slogan and 70% of the Prime Minister using my slogan. What's not to love? I don't think that's the right attack. Not to be borrowing your slogan, borrowing the slogan, I should say, of your opponent. I think the Prime Minister's got to come up in this next week. Don't get distracted with the legislative calendar of the House of Commons. Find what you've not yet found, particularly last week when the Prime Minister was giving a different news conference on a different topic and a different attack on Poilievre every single day. Find what you have not found yet. A pointed, focused attack on Poilievre, something that actually will make voters rethink their potential support for Poilievre, something that connects with people as they think about reaching into their pocket for gas and groceries. Acts the facts. It's just political sophistry. It doesn't connect with real people. So I would find the wound that really stings Poilievre, and I would pound and pound and pound away on that. That's what they should do this coming week. That's what they should do all summer.
that is terrible. Find the wound and pound, pound, pound. Man, this guy, this is just total political strategy. How about doing what's right for Canadians? That's all you have to do. You don't have to find some weird habit that Pierre Poilievre had when he was 12 years old and then say, oh yeah, this is the kind of guy he is. What is this, Scott Reid? Seriously, what is this? Political garbage. Just do what is best for the people, and the people keep you in power. This is not rocket science.
I've seen that they have focused in, Corey, on not a specific critique of Poilievre, but the concept that they will be critiquing him more constantly, if that makes sense, right? That is clearly what did come across over the past few weeks.
Yeah, well, I largely agree with what Scott had to say, but what was missing from his answer is, okay, so what is that attack that's going to resonate? Because I feel they haven't found it yet. And, I agree they need to hone in on something substantive that actually touches voters' lives in a meaningful way. They haven't done that. What you're seeing in the clips is that Poilievre is laser-like focused and continues to be on working people, and what the government's doing is negatively affecting their life, be it around the carbon tax or other measures. So, Poilievre, to put it simply, is making it about the voter. And I think the Prime Minister is making a very obscure point about politics and about, facts. I don't know, but the attack is missing a core of substance that actually resonates with people. And And it's unclear what that attack would be. They've tried on a lot of different lines, and they've yet to seem to land on one that they're going to stick with.
Do they need something very specific in your view, Kathleen, or is it possibly effective to chip away in different ways at the perception of Poilievre, to try and define him on a myriad of different fronts in order to create doubt that they have done successfully with previous Conservative leaders?
Well, what I can say for sure is I think that the Prime Minister going as hard at Poilievre as he is not actually going to change the dialogue much. Like Scott said, he's just going to attack. How is that going to change? What we have right now is two leaders, both Mr. Poilievre and Mr. Trudeau, who are mudslinging, who are calling each other whether it's extremist or racist. And I think that that kind of divisiveness actually opens up opportunity for Jagmeet Singh to say, hey, it's not just Coke and Pepsi. It's not just McDonald's and Burger King. You have another choice over here. And while the Conservatives are trying to block all the kinds of legislation in the House, which is like, you're allowed to vote against legislation you don't like. They could vote against pharmacare if they don't want it, but they actually are trying to block it from even coming into the House. They've actually become kind of like the English Canada's version of the Bloc Québécois. They're just going to block everything. And so I think there's an opportunity for Singh to actually get out there and say, hey, we can make Ottawa work for you. So there's lots going on, but there's only
Look at her face. She's like, I call bull crap on that. Look at this. She's not buying it one bit. Singh is propping up the government, and that's what her face is. She's like, nope. This is the guy who could call the election tomorrow, and there's no way him going out there and campaigning while propping up Trudeau is doing anything for the NDP.
24 days left in the House. So not a lot of time to move on this legislation. And where I would disagree with Scott is that some of this legislation is really important and needs to move through quickly, like the pharmacare bill.
Do you think from a political perspective, what the government does in the House is important to the message that they can land or might not be able to land in the summer, Scott?
Only insofar as if they build up a broader narrative about what's going on. I don't think that selling the fine points of pharmacare or other legislative actions, I don't really think that stuff is tracking. I don't think that people hear it, and I don't necessarily think it has enough resonance and acceptance on the part of Canadians to change the voting outlook. So instead, I think, I'll take up Corey's challenge. What I'd be pounding on is, look, cuts and constant conflict. That's what you're going to get out of Poilievre. It's going to be cuts and constant conflict. Don't point.
Yeah, we want cuts. We want the government to be cut. There's too much government bureaucracy. We're spending way too much on government. We're spending way too much on all these stupid things. Like the previous video, Trudeau giving out $100 million to some pride organization for parades and all sorts of this is not how money should be spent, especially when we have underfunded hospitals. We have underfunded everything, people living on the streets.
Out to people, as the Liberals often do, that, he hasn't said where he stands on this. Say where he stands on it. Say that he will cut things that you care about. Say that he will cut things that middle-class families care about. Force him to say, well, no, I won't. That's how you get him into the arena on these issues. So I would pound away on those things, and I would hammer. There is this question of how much you use the Prime Minister as a negative battering ram, but since they're not advertising, they've got few other options if they want to get noticed at all.
Yeah,
there's been a few times where Poilievre has been forced to put his line in the sand, and it's only strengthened his campaign. It's not going to work. It just won't.
I was going to actually say that because as Kathleen was sort of describing how the Poilievre-Trudeau fight has been unfolding, Corey, it reminded me of the fact that they must not be listening to all three of you who have constantly for the past year said, you guys should not be the people attacking each other, but they remain so.
Yeah, it comes with the downside, but I've been watching with interest some of the research around perception of these two leaders, and the reality is neither one of them are loved. It's just that Trudeau has worn out his welcome on a whole range of issues.
I don't really agree with that. I mean, Poilievre brings a lot of hope. Loved, I mean, nobody's going to really love someone who hasn't been in power, that hasn't drastically changed their life yet. That's how that is. People will love someone who isn't their family member after they have dramatically changed their life. Whether that's someone who's come into their life, whether that's someone who's given them certain advice in life that has drastically improved their life, or whatever it may be, for weight loss, for business, etc. So Pierre Poilievre hasn't had that chance. He's bringing a lot of hope right now, and people are feeling that hope, and they're going to vote him in. So that's not really a fair assessment, where Justin Trudeau has had 9 years, and he has absolutely decimated this country. So yeah, there's no love for Justin Trudeau because he does everything for himself.
Beyond the personal style of how he presents himself. So, like, at the end of the day, it's a major issue advantage for the Conservatives because they're landing punches around affordability, which is the top topic for voters out there. And the Prime Minister, it's been more sort of more of a personal attack line without the substance as to what that is. I think the line that Scott suggested would be a good one for them. Like, I think that's probably where they have to go. I'm just not sure it's enough. I'm not sure it's enough to get them out of the hole that they've dug for themselves around carbon tax in particular.
Yeah, that's the multi-million whatever question. Yeah, going into the election, Kathleen. Last week.
Yeah, I guess I think Corey brought up the issue of the polling, and there was some interesting polling from Nanos this week that actually said that Pierre Poilievre's negatives are going up. 6 in 10 Canadians are angry or disgusted with him. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're higher for Trudeau, for sure. But I think that is an inherent risk for Mr. Poilievre, that it could turn in, the point I was trying to make earlier about Coke and Pepsi is not just McDonald's or Burger King. There are other options out there. And if the voters out there are saying, oh, we don't like any of you, there's a possibility for a third party to move up the middle.
Although Angus Reid showed that apathy was directed all across the map, which is what I hear.
Yeah, the problem is there's every single party except the Conservatives have voted for that stupid carbon tax. So that's why there's apathy for all the other parties. So it doesn't matter if you're voting Green or whatever it may be, NDP. They all voted for that stupid carbon tax, which is decimating our country.
Because they're higher for two of them.
If you're saying it's a choice between Coke and Pepsi, what the NDP are putting on offer is some sort of like
Fanta. It's orange Crush.
It's a noxious orange and green smoothie that is bitter, and there's no sign that anyone is lining up to buy that drink right now. In fact, you're continuing to see the NDP slide backwards in the polls.
Whenever I see political analysts that come up with strategies, I just find it so disgusting. Like what Scott Reid was saying, just pushing strategies to win. And it's not like that. You just need to do what's right by the people. You don't need to find that sore spot, find out that one time that Pierre Poilievre took a nickel from the problem with Justin Trudeau is he's created situations like this, which can't be fixed by finding Poilievre's weak spot he can push.
This is the first month I won't be able to afford rent. I'm not a rich person. I don't have a lot of stuff. I have basic household necessities, a couch, a bed, washer, a dryer. That's about it. A car. I don't have a lot of lavish things. I don't go on vacations, and I don't spend a lot. Rent's increased from $1,300 to $1,800. The food prices are too high. I've cut back on eating because I literally cannot afford food. I've cut back on my favorite snacks, cat food, treats. I'm exhausted all the time from being overworked and underpaid. You don't catch a break when you grow up poor. I don't need much to be happy. I just want to be able to live comfortable. I just really need to catch a break right now. I'm trying so hard and I feel like I'm not doing enough. I don't have family. I don't have anything to fall back on. This is the first month I won't be able to.
Yeah, that's a rough situation. I mean, Justin Trudeau's double the price of everything. Speaking of that dirty rat, we've got this one posted by Son of a Bench. You have 15 seconds to privately tell Trudeau anything. What do you whisper to him? The comments are going to be spicy on this one, so I can't say it here. I'm offering him maid or jail. You and Guilbeault are going to look fantastic in all orange. 1 second will do it. One word, quit. Depends on whether or not there are consequences for what I say or do. You won't get away with this. Ooh, I think maid was made for you. Resign now. Call an election now. We hope you lose your hair. I know what you did last summer. You should put milk in a soda stream. Get out of Canada. There's quite a bit of spicy responses to that I can't say on here, as you can imagine, but there's some good ones in there. So we got some breaking news here. This is the top of a hill or a mountain that's in Iran, and the president and one of his foreign minister were in a helicopter that went down, and they're gone. They are gone now. So they got up there, they found the wreckage. They didn't hear from them for 10 hours. They're gone. So pretty crazy. What does that mean for Iran? There's a guy on top who actually approves everything, so he's still in charge, but this was essentially next in command, who's actually the president who runs things, that is now gone. There's a whole bunch of conspiracy theories now saying, this happened, that happened. I mean, they flew a helicopter through fog. This is not the first time this has happened. This is exactly, I believe, what happened. The same situation is with Kobe and his helicopter. They're going through fog. You can't see anything. Messes up the metrics on the readings on the helicopter, etc. There's another shot of it there. Rough landing, yeah. So next up, we got a clip here of a dude who jumps into the fish tank at Bass Pro Shop in Cross Iron Mills in Calgary. So I think someone has done this before. She got wet. It looks like he scared the daylights out of all those fish in there. I gotta imagine the guy got kicked out of the store for doing that. Moving over to my group here, let's take a look at what memes we got today. Parks Canada giving away free admission for a year to new Canadian citizens. Yeah. This is just that whole situation. If you're not aware, if you're a new immigrant citizen, you get free membership. If you've been paying taxes for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you do not get one. It's disgraceful. Gray pride. We're old. We're tired. Get off our lawn. Retirement plan. Move to Mexico. Give up citizenship. Come back illegally. Set for life. Yeah. Ooh, that's me. Prissy sucks. What is the deal with Trudeau and his socks? Like, why? Why does he have to be Mr. Socks? Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Those who prevent history from being taught fully intend to repeat it. Yeah, that's right on the money. So we got footage here of 9 water bombers. Wow. It's really something seeing the water come out of those things. So something that's interesting about these water bombers, the Mars Martian water bomber is actually just stationed like 15 minutes from where I live here. It's just down the lake there. I think they're fixing it up. They're going to fly it over to Victoria and retire it. Like, we have the technology. We literally have the thing sitting over there 15 minutes where I live to help with the forest fires, yet they don't use it. They don't, oh, it's this company, that company. We have to rent it, blah, blah, like all the excuses. Then build more. Build 17 more and stop sending money off to Ukraine. Like, why can't we build 77 water bombers and take care of these forest fires? Yeah, and the forest fires, we all know, we just call them what they are, arson fires. I mean, look at this. Look how much water gets dumped. When there's a big fire above Cameron Lake here on Vancouver Island, they had helicopters with a little tiny bucket coming and scooping water. I don't know how much water is in those things, but it's got to be like 1/5, 1/10 of what these water bombers hold. It's a fractional amount. So if you know the actual measurements of that, leave that down below. But I mean, look at this. These things are just dumping tons of water on these fires. Just bring this technology back. Build some new water bombers. Finally, end things here with this clip. I blow like my hair dryer. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought about those analysts and their take on things with Pierre Poilievre, especially the conservative one saying that, oh, there's no love for, Trudeau and Pierre. It's like, Pierre needs a chance to show what he can do for Canada. He's not been in power for 9 years like Trudeau, so I don't think it was a very good take on that, and especially Scott Reid and just the NDP analysts trying to say, oh, Jagmeet should step up, all that. Vassie's not having it. So thanks for watching the end of the video here. Be sure to subscribe, ring that notification bell if you want to check out some merch that's linked up down below. We'll keep fighting for freedom. I'll see you guys on the next one.